Hey babes, I hope you're having an amazing week. I just wanted to come to you and kind of give you an update of what's been going on, babes, and what we've been sharing in this series called Storms. A quick testimony though, last week in part two of our series, we had an amazing guest, Brittany Hamilton, all the way from Florida, share with us about storms. And at the end of it, we had some girls from Michigan connecting in, and we began praying, and one of them had a really bad headache, and she was really struggling through the whole session to even stay focused and everything. And so at the end, we began praying over one another, and I just felt strongly led to pray over her and to pray healing. And so we finished praying, and at the end of it, I asked her, I said, how do you feel? And she was like, I feel so much better. Like, my headache is gone. I just thought that was so awesome and so encouraging, because literally through the whole time she was just covering her head. She was trying to stay focused, and God is just a healing God, and that kind of stuff just so excites me. And every week now we have the babes go around and just quickly share something, and hearing what God's doing. It's a common thing. A lot of us are going through a transitioning season, and so I feel the series Storms is a common thing, and I believe that it's going through the whole body of Christ. But what I think God is trying to do is to help us Christians to change our perspective of, yes, the storm is coming, but I am with you. And so I just want to kind of go through the first week, just a quick overview of what I spoke on in our part one of the series. And I really taught in Luke, when Jesus and the disciples went in a boat and the storm hit them while they were in the boat. And so a few things that God spoke to me was, it's in Luke 8 is where you can find this story. Jesus led them into the storm. He initiated, let's get in the boat, let's cross over and go to the next town. And so Jesus knew a storm was coming, and he led them right into the storm. And so sometimes God is leading us into the storm. Sometimes God showed me, like, those fears that are within us that we never voice, that we never talk about, that are inside of us. Sometimes God is leading us right to them, because he wants to show us that they don't have control over us. Because in the Bible it says to fear him and fear him alone. And so sometimes he has us go into those storms to show you're going to be okay. Don't give Satan a stronghold. Don't let him make you think that this would destroy you, because it won't, because I am with you. Point number 2 that he showed me was, we need not fear the storm, because he is with us, and to rest in the storm. I mean, here Jesus is, and he responds to the guys just in this classic manner. They're freaking out. They're running all around. How often, Jesus led them into the storm, so therefore he was equipped. This wasn't a surprise to him. And here the guys are like, oh my gosh, like, these guys had seen Jesus. These were his disciples. They knew what he was capable of. They were starting to figure out, who he was. That he definitely was not anyone normal, and yet they're freaking out. And Jesus just like, hey, like, I'm with you. Relax. And in the Message, he actually says, we'll drop down on that. Point number 3 is trusting him and not the boat. Some of these were fishermen. They were trained. They lived on a boat. They worked on a boat. And but yet this storm was out of their hands. And I think that's what Jesus does to us, is sometimes he'll have us revisit something that we think that we've conquered, that we think that we're good in this area, and he'll have us revisit, not to shut us down, but just show us a different perspective in our heart that we can heal from. And this constantly keeps us relying on God, because if we become mastering something where we no longer need God, man, that's not a good place, because that says we're perfect. But our goal is to always be like Jesus, to always check in with Jesus. And he's saying, don't trust the boat, don't trust the thing, but to always trust him. Because he was on the boat. He was the thing that was saving them. He was their anchor. He was their hope. He was the protection. Number 4, when Jesus spoke to the storm. In the Message version, it says, and when he spoke to the storm, he took the breath out of the wind, and the waves become calm like glass. So whoever or whatever is speaking against you or talking to you in this moment, just trust in him, because in all of our trying to save ourselves, to justify our name when someone's talking against us, we can stir up the storm to make it better. The disciples running around was only causing the boat to rock even more. But Jesus was resting. He was napping, which he was causing no more. He was not stirring up. And when he stood up, he spoke, and that was it. You need to trust Jesus, because in the moment, he can take the breath out of their lungs. Number 5 was he took them to the middle of the sea. The storm was in the middle of the sea. There was no land to grab on. What all they could trust in was him. Our goal in life is to be just like Jesus. And Jesus, I believe, is saying, I kept seeing this in my spirit, like he's sitting on the boat, and maybe the loved ones that are around you are running around. This is chaos. But Jesus is saying, sit with me, rest with me, and know that I am faithful. Know that I am God, and know that I will protect you. And he's causing you to get away from all the things that you know. I trust you, God, but I'm going to keep one foot on land, but I'm going to trust you. No, he took them to the middle, and he said, really trust me. And how God asks us to be is very different from what the world may say. People may be like, what are you doing? Like, this is how you act. This is how you do. No, you trust God. You sit with him and you watch him do things, because in the eye of the storm, it is the calmest. And he is saying, sit with me, rest with me, and watch me work. So I believe that God is saying storms are going to happen. Storms are a part of nature. It actually can bring great growth. Sometimes I've seen when a tornado wipes through a town, the vegetation, the trees, they come back stronger than they were before the storm. If we were always in, this is a beautiful time, we would never grow. We would never learn to dig our roots down deeper. A seed would never learn. When a seed is planted, its job is to gain nutrients. It's to go deeper so that when it begins to grow, it can bear the elements above. And that's what Jesus is saying, is storms are going to come, but I'm trying to show you this is what you do in the storm, and I'm with you. So I pray that this blesses you. This week we'll be doing part 3, and I will be speaking this week. I'm going to be talking about Peter walking on the water. I'm really excited. God has been showing me some really, really awesome things, just revelation, just blowing my mind. I hope that you can join us, and either if you live in the area, coming to my house and fellowshipping with us, or connecting with us. We do Skype, Google Hangout, FaceTime. It is truly amazing to have women connecting all over, and for one night being one giant group. That's what Babes is all about, is a group of lionesses are the only groups of cats that hunt together. They don't work off each other, or exposing each other's weaknesses, but they work off each other's strengths, because the goal is to feed the pack. That's the goal. And our goal is the same thing, to change Jesus. And so it's us coming together, not exposing each other's weaknesses, but working off each other's strengths. And Babe stands for bold, adventurous, beautiful, encouraging, serving. And that's what we all are. And so I believe that God is doing a mighty thing in the body of Christ, a mighty thing in women. If you don't want to connect with Babes, I encourage you, find a group of women around you and connect with them. One of my favorite things about Babes is at the end of it, nobody wants to leave, because that desire in there to be around one another is so designed in us to fellowship. Husbands are great, boyfriends are great, families are great, brothers are great, but women, fellowshipping with women, we were designed for that. And I encourage you to connect with those women around you. And Satan wants to make you not do that, put a fear in you, because he knows how strong we are truly together. So God bless you all. Have an amazing week, and I will see you on Thursday.